Just so much to show, to know what to do. Just jump in the queue, it's down to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue, it's hella to you. All in the queue, just check out the view. All in the queue. To show, to know what to do. Just jump in the queue, it's all up to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue, it's all up to you. All in the queue, it's check out the view. All in the queue. Just so much to show, to know what to do. Just jump in the queue, it's down to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue, it's hella to you. All in the queue, just check out the view. All in the queue.
One thing for sure and two things for certain is I'm never going to hear you out if what I'm hearing is stupid. I'm not going to hear that. I'm not going to receive that. That's not my ministry. A lot of y'all sit and give too much of y'all time and effort to people who don't deserve it. Why would you be listening to somebody telling you that 2 + 2 is 92 when you know it's not? That is a waste of my time. It's not of the kingdom. It's not. And I would not subject myself to foolishness, okay? Because I don't like to consider myself to be foolish, so I don't want to sit with it. No, it ain't nothing we can do. We done talking. I'm done talking. I'm done listening as well. Yeah, so I don't know who needs to hear that. I hope it reaches you and I hope it touches your spirit. Stop entertaining foolishness. Because people will start seeing you as foolish or somebody to be played with. And I don't like to be played with. Go play Atari. Go play some spades. But don't play with me. All right, love you. Bye. One thing for sure.
What's up? What's up? It's your girl Super. It's your girl Super. We back in the building. How y'all doing this evening? Let me see who's speaking. Probably good old faithfuls. What up, Jim C? If you're here, please like, share, subscribe. If you will, please speak when you come into the room. Use your manners. Act how you was raised, not your shoe size. But good evening to you anyway. As you can see, it says Harvey recap. So we're going to recap this meeting that happened on Monday. You see behind me, I got the gang green gang. Cause baby, listen, that what I witnessed on Monday was hilarious. Okay. And we're going to talk about it because some of the things you don't get to see behind the scenes. Matter of fact, let me bring up my page because the gentleman that does the media for Harvey, he doesn't get any prior footage. Any of the footage like while we're waiting or any of that, he doesn't do any of that. So I'm gonna bring up my page, my YouTube page, so that you can see some of the things that are occurring beforehand. Hey, Deb Hill, how you doing? We back again. We don't have any drama. We don't have any beef. We don't have none of that. No, the only thing I have for you is the truth. Um, if you want that, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Um, let's see. Hey, Dave Bryson, how you doing? Sound is okay. Picture froze. Yeah. So annoying. You can hear me though, right? I know the picture is frozen. But you can hear me. Come in. Um, I don't see myself unfrozen yet, so I see myself unfrozen now. We're about to get some more snow, so I might freeze a little bit more. We got snow clouds coming in and whatnot. Hey, Ernesto, what's up? Hey, Javar, what's going on? Tonight we're doing the Harvey recap. Um, and we're gonna get that out of the way. Let me bring up my page so that I can do this Harvey recap with you guys. We're gonna talk about a few things, a few other things I'm working on. Y'all gonna have to excuse my tardiness on some things. Too many W's. I have some personal issues to attend to as well. So I'm handling a bit of personal business that's may interrupt me being able to broadcast consistently this week and maybe next week. But we are going to talk about this Harvey meeting. As you all know, the mayor, the first meeting they had was the COW, which was the committee of the whole, which is where you're supposed to talk about the agenda items or some things that you want to potentially vote on and put on the council meeting. So this was the committee of, I see him frozen again. I hope y'all can hear me. But like I told you, we have snow supposed to be starting in a little while. So the snow clouds are coming in, which may interfere with this broadcast. So let me put up my disclaimer too. Hold on one second, because that's one thing I did not play. Let me put this up. All right. Okay, so let's see. This right here was the minutes. I know you can't see it. Was the agenda for the committee of the whole, wherein they were supposed to have a presentation of the fiscal year 2025 appropriations ordinance and a presentation of the 2025 levy ordinance, a presentation of the fiscal year 2022 audit, because they are behind. That audit was supposed to be coming from, let me put this picture back up. This gentleman that you see here at the mic, which is Kyle Kasperick, who is John Kasperik's son. He also had another guy with him. I don't know what his name was. I think it was Sean or something like that. Okay, so let's talk about this these so-called presentations. First of all, they were not supposed to be presentations, right? So they should have been hearings. So they should have been budget hearings. There should have been a hearing to where the residents would be able to ask questions about said budget that they should have had access to 20 days prior to any type of hearing or meeting. Residents are supposed to be able to inspect. And hello, John Hooker, how are you? Residents are supposed to be able to inspect the budget, um, and be able to formulate questions. Now, there was a lot of back and forth last year about, oh, you don't even live there, and blase, whatever, whatever. Makes no difference to me. Child, please don't come over here with that, because I no longer give two F's about what you think about where I live, where I don't live. I'm going to say what I'm saying. Okay. And anyway, where I do reside, we have a clinic. We have a whole day's clinic. So on Mondays, before our Tuesday meeting, we have a whole clinic on the whole entire agenda packet, which is published on the website. Let me show you. Hold on one second. I'm going to bring it up. So that way you can see what it should look like, right? You need to see what something should look like in order to know what you should be getting. So let me share this screen right quick. Okay, this is where give me one second because my screen acting foolish. My particular screen is acting foolish. Come on. One second. Okay. There you child. Okay, here we go. Let me change this background so you all be able to see something. Boop, boop. There you go. Okay. It don't matter if you can't see me because I'm not the most important thing in this. Right now, we are looking at the city of Joliet's page, their website. Blood redeemed. Good evening to you. All right. Right. These are the financial reports. You can actually go to the monthly financial report, and guess what they have here? They have posted the monthly financial report. As you can see, they are behind by months already, but they do post them here. I'm gonna tell you right now, Joliet is in a bit of an uproar itself, and that mayor is getting the business from the residents that live in the city of Joliet. He is getting the entire business, because there are things going on that the residents do not like and do not agree with, and they put him to task. Okay. And this in the monthly reports, this is what they normally post. The Monday before the meeting, they will go over this document in full. You will be able to ask any type of question that you want about any line item that you want. Make sure you close my door back, okay? About any line item that you want. And see, they post everything here. What they collected, This is the monthly. This is the monthly reports. They do this monthly. So they post these monthly. This is something that your municipality should be doing, right? This is transparency. Now, the mayor of Joliet is getting the business, okay? He whether he wants to or not, these are posted. They're supposed to be. So November is missing and December is missing. And at the last meeting, somebody told him about it. Told him he better get them reports on the website. And so they'll be coming, as you can see, they posted the link. They posted the link where they will be, active once they get posted. But that's what you should be seeing. You should be seeing transparency from your municipality. Okay, so, and they have them all here for every year. For every year, they have them all here. Okay, let's close this one. And look at this. They have invoices paid report. Look at this. Now, all of those are up to date. Let's check for December 2025 what they paid. Right here, they have everything listed. A&T Pest Control. They listed what they paid, what the invoices were. This is what they paid them, $787. See, this is 106 pages. They put all of the invoices, everything that they pay up here. And like I said on that Monday clinic, if you have any questions about why or where or who they paying, they will answer you in their clinic. But all of that is listed here. Now, wouldn't it be nice if all of the other municipalities in the south suburbs on that side did this? I feel like when they don't, it's absolutely something going on. Because if they can post it, the other municipalities should be able to post it too. I did some auditing today. We're going to do a whole live on the audits that I did today on the different municipalities. All right. But this is what, where I live at, this is what it looks like. These are the things that are posted. And if it's not, you can go right and post them. You can go right, and ask them. You FOI for it, ask them. Usually it comes in less than 24 hours, the answer. And they post everything here. I'm gonna stay on this page for 1 second because it looks like I'm frozen again. But I hope y'all are still hearing me. Ooh, this gonna be rough tonight. Can y'all still hear me? Let me know if you can still hear me. I'm still waiting for my screen to change so I feel like it's still. Hey, Wyoming gal. How you doing? Can y'all still hear me? Okay, you can still hear me. My screen just frozen. All right, cool. Those are the invoices. You still have invoices on the screen, but that's not what I have. My screen currently showing. Let me see. Oh, we go back. There you go. And then they have all of their proposed budgets here, the drafting budget. Once it's adopted, then they'll post that. All of those things are there on this particular website. It would be great if all of the other municipalities did these things as well. See this? They got employee compensation report. They tell you what the employees make. They have the annual treasurer's report. They have the annual comprehensive financial report. They have the annual collector's report. They have all of their reports listed here. They are currently need to add the 2024 report here, and they have a space holder for that. They need to add 2025. Now, this right here is transparency. Now, this man, the mayor that's in office right now, he's doing a lot of hiring and things that people do not agree with. So there's a lot going on out here. But these people are very active in their government out here. They ain't letting nothing get by them. Okay? So they go to their meetings. They go to their meetings and off here. They make sure, because right now we are upset about there's some salaries. Overtime is a lot. And out here we're not getting any relief as far as the homeowners are concerned. So right now, those are the things that we are doing. Thank you, Wam Gal, for the super chat of $10. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. All right, let's go. Now let's go. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this meeting, this Harvey meeting. But I did want to show you, just wanted to show you what your financial report place on your city's website should look like. Is that what they look like? I feel like in the ones that are experiencing some misappropriations, no, not at all. I'm gonna tell you about a few because I did some audits, some phone calls today. Well, part of the reason why I'm getting on late tonight doing the cap. Okay, but right now we're gonna go to the cow meeting. We'll start with the cow meeting because that's where all the fireworks kind of started for me. The things that did not make sense. And what I really want to fast forward to, because we're going to look at a cleaner version of the meeting and a more up close version. But I wanted to go to way to see that the space meeting art. Sorry, I know you got something. So everybody started to come in, and just right here in the purple, Corinne, I think her name is Corinne Davis. And I believe that she is, if there's Harvey people on the line, I believe she is the village administrator, if I'm correct, right? You see her walking over here? She's gonna walk over there and she's gonna talk really quietly. We really couldn't hear what she was saying until we all started getting quiet. Right here, this is where
Kobe, and it won't be Tracy.
This is where the nonsense started for me. You see this? You see when she's bent over and she's talking to them, but she's not talking to the room. She's quietly talking to them. Now, that didn't make any sense to me because this is a public meeting. If you wanted to say something to them, you should have sent them an email, or you should have texted them before the meeting. Or, I mean, there was 1,000 different ways you could have told them that Sammy Sosa was not going to be at the meeting Monday night, because I'm sure that the village administrator knew way in advance that he was not going to be there. But anyway, at this point, she is whispering to the board that the mayor is not going to be there and they need to elect a pro temp. And she actually makes them do it right there. She makes them elect, and she's in the middle facilitating when it should have never been her facilitating anything. This is the first violation of the Open Meetings Act that happened during the cow that nobody said anything about or mentioned anything about. This is actually the first infraction that happened. Hey Bobo, how you doing? Which is where she goes and she's telling the board that Sammy Sosa is not going to be there at the meeting. This is the first infraction. Why? You said, Super, why is it the first infraction? It's the first infraction because she should not be facilitating the meeting. That is done by the deputy clerk. See that lady sitting up there on the dais to the right? That's the deputy clerk. She is the one. She actually should have opened the meeting and then stated loudly to the public that the mayor will not be attending tonight and the board needs to um, elect a mayor pro temp. Can I get a motion to elect a mayor pro temp? Then there should have been a motion, a second, and if there needed to be discussion called for, and then a vote. That's actually what should have taken place that did not take place. It is these things right here that we need to be clipping and sending to the Illinois Inspector General, to the Illinois Attorney General's office, and saying, this is a blatant violation of the Open Meetings Act. The village administrator should not be facilitating this meeting or whatever it is that she's doing. It should be the clerk. If the clerk is absent, it should be the deputy clerk. If the deputy clerk is absent, it should be the most senior trustee or council person, alder person in this case, saying blase, blase. So these are the things that we need to start with the first infraction. This right here is crazy. But anyway, this is what she did. This is what she did. And they then proceeded to vote. Child, I feel like the most childish out of all of them, but I understand why they did it. Dominique Randall L. as the mayor pro tem. So they nominated him as the mayor pro tem. That's how, if you were watching that evening, that's how he ended up being the mayor pro tem. I thought the rules state only the senior alderperson should be elected mayor pro tem. Different in every municipality, Javar. And I don't know what their ordinance says in regards to that, because most of their ordinances are not posted. But in most cases, they can vote whoever they want as mayor pro tem. That actually doesn't really matter. They can vote whoever they want as mayor pro tem, and then that person can preside over the meeting. And that's, if that's what they did, then that part of it was fine. But as like I said, do you see the deputy clerk? You see how she's looking? She's looking like, what is she saying? Because she's supposed to be recording this for the minutes. She should be recording for the minutes that the mayor was absent. She brought the meeting to order. She called for a motion to elect a mayor pro temp. There was a motion. There was a second. She asked for discussion. There was no discussion. And then they proceeded to a vote. And the vote resulted in whatever. Now, what's she going to write for the minutes? I got to see this. When these minutes come out, I'm going forward for them, because I want to know what she go. If she lie and say that she brought that meeting to order, oh, we about to roll footage. We about to roll footage to the Illinois Inspector General, because that is a lie and that is a legal document that you just lied on. But I digress. Citizens and residents of Harvey, this is something that needs to be done. It can't just be done by me. Loads of people need to do it so that they can get tired of reading the same thing over and over so they can do something about it, so that they can issue a punishment. Okay? But that's what happened. That's what she's doing right there. And then she go back.
Wanted to yell that out. Tell him, I say, speak up. We can't hear you.
This is what happened. Then she told the clerk, the deputy clerk, what she did.
So they elected Dominique. Yes.
Now she's going over to tell the deputy clerk what she needs to write. Now, what did she say? What did she tell her that she needed to write? See, none of this should have been happening. None of that should have been happening. She the village administrator, not the clerk. But okay, that's what happened. That was the first bit of craziness that happened to me. What I feel like was crazy. All right. Now we're gonna go to this cow meeting. And in this cow meeting, they were supposed to have on the agenda, it says a presentation. I want you to let me know if you see a presentation. Let's go.
Now, 5:54 p.m. We're going to call this meeting, the committee of the whole meeting to order. I'm going to ask for the roll call of all council members in attendance.
Alderperson Shirley Drinsky. Present. Alderperson Colby Chapman. Present. Alderperson Talani Smith. Present. Alderperson Tracy Keith.
Here.
Alderperson Brenda.
Here.
Alderperson Rogers.
Present. Okay, thank you very much.
And Mayor Clark.
Think about tonight, and in situations such as this, we ask council to elect a member to chair the meeting. With that being said, I'll ask for a motion.
Motion to elect Michael as the chairman.
Motion made by the third.
Alderperson Chapman.
Now, he got there and he then told the public what they already did. This is what they already did. They still out because the clerk should have called the meeting to order in the absence of the mayor. Then they should have did everything that I told you they should have done. And then he should have taken the seat up there on the dais. And none of that would have needed to be explained. And the vote would have been taken out loud already.
Yes. Alderperson Smith. Yes. Alderperson Keith.
Yes.
Alderperson Brenda.
Yes.
Alderperson Rogers.
Yes. Thank you all very much. With that being said, let's start the presentation of the audit for 2022. Please take the mic, introduce yourself, tell them a little bit about yourself and the company.
Hello. So for those who don't know me, my name is Kyle Esper. I'm an audit manager at Esper Company. In addition, I have my colleague, fellow JKC audit manager Stephen Shield, present, and we're the auditors for the city's year-end, April 30th, 2022. So you may recall seeing me back when we presented the FY 21 audit.
Okay, so tell me one of the scenes when happened. When he came up to the podium, he said it would be a presentation. We're sitting there and everybody is looking at everybody. Y'all know that thing where they were like, he looked at me and I looked at him and he looked at me and I looked. I, I mean, we all looking around like, where's the presentation? Can we get a copy of the presentation? Um, what presentation? I mean, literally, people are looking around saying, "Did you get a copy?" We all, each person is like, "No, did you get one? Did they have it on the desk?" I mean, we are literally looking for this presentation, just like we were at the township meeting, because this is the same firm in the township, in Dalton, in University Park, in Calumet City, and God knows where else, but we're going to get to the bottom of that as well. I mean, we all are looking around saying, did you get a copy? Did you get a copy? Did you get a copy? We Oprah out there, bitch, trying to find out who got a copy. Now, meanwhile, Steven, who he introduced as the other audit manager for the firm, is sitting beside him is a big box filled with presentations. Mm-hmm. Yeah, filled with presentations that we didn't get. But he's supposed to be giving a presentation to the public.
As this is now the second year of our first presenting audit of the city. So I'll be going through is the performance services for the year ending April 30th, 2022. I'd like to start off by thanking members of the City Council, City Management, and the rest of the city staff. They all worked very hard filling our requests, and we appreciate everyone that was involved. So
hold on, I'm about to see this play better if I take it out of the system, because hold on. Maybe it'll play better if I take it out of the system. Right now, I feel like it's some difficulty with you all being able to. It's glitching in my ears. It's glitching. Hold on. I'm gonna see if it plays better not in the system. Because right now I have it loaded up in the system. Probably. And then I'll skip it too. But this man starts to introduce himself. He introduces his partner. Like I said, this is Kasper's son. And they did the audit. And so there's going to be some clarity about this. When we get there, I don't know, because I don't know. The person that tried to give the clarity, you can't really understand everything that they're saying, if that makes sense. I don't know. If it makes sense to you.
Okay, the time is now 5:54 p.m.
Hold on one second. All right, slide this over here. And I'm going to take this out of the system and I'm going to add this. Okay, well, I'm going to go. Have a good one. Hey, sure. Okay, let's see. Can we get this version to play? I'm going to share this window. I think this one will play smoother because it's outside of the system. Okay, and then we put this one up, and then I will I'll fast forward it to the right spot. All right, here we go.
of the balance sheet, income statement, and reconciliations for to the previously mentioned government-wide financial statements. Presented here, you will also see a column for the non-major governmental funds, which are smaller governmental funds. And you will see that detailed in the report. I would like to draw your attention to pages 22 and 23. This consists of your revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. The city's revenue exceeded expenditures by.
Okay, now mind you, he's doing the audit from 2022. We are now in 2026. In addition to that, right, he read all of these disclaimers. You probably couldn't understand it or hear it. The mics are bad in there. He read all of these disclaimers. While we're going through this, everybody's looking for where this audit or this presentation is. It was not on the website at the beginning of this meeting. We watched the clerk upload this audit to the website and upload the levy to the website, as you're going to see the comptroller lie and say that it been on the website when she literally just uploaded it while we were sitting there on the screen. We saw her putting things on the website as he was talking. So none of this stuff was available public 20 days before this meeting as it was supposed to. It was all put on that night, that very moment that he was talking, it was on. And so it is on the website now. How you going to find it? I don't know, because I had to be sent a link because you couldn't just find it on the website. And I was like, I don't see it. It's not there. And so he made 100 disclaimers. While he's talking, I'm gonna find the disclaimer, and Ryan reads the disclaimer in his public comment, so you'll hear it again.
Approximately $2 million, thus lowering the cumulative governmental fund balance deficit of approximately $35.5 million to $33.5 million. A significant improvement compared to FY21, which had a net change in fund balance of approximately $55,000 for governmental funds. Pages 25 through 28, this presents the proprietary fund finance.
Now, let me tell you, again, these are numbers from 2022. We are in 2026. They are going to pass. They were voting to pass the budget for 2025, 2026 that night. I don't see how you do that when you don't even have audits for 2024. How do you know what you're spending if you have not had your audits since 2022? This is an audit of 2022. So when you made a budget in 2023, what did you make the budget off of if you didn't audit yourself in 2022? If you passed the budget in 2024, what were you spending because you didn't do an audit in 2023? If you passed the budget on Monday night for 2025, 2026, what do you know that you even are spending, or what can you appropriate for spending if you did not audit yourself for 2024? My question in large in the whole picture is, how does a CPA firm allow this to happen? If you are saying ours, how do you allow them to ask you to help prepare a budget for the next year? You have not even audited previous years, so you don't even have actual numbers, actual spending totals. How? For all of these municipalities that are behind, this for Dalton, this for Harvey, this for River, this for any municipality that is working with the Casper Group and are behind on their audits. How are you making budgets based on what numbers? Because you don't even know what you spent in the previous year if you didn't audit yourself to find out what you need to appropriate for the next year. So, for example, let's say office supplies, you spent, well, you don't know what you spent because you didn't audit. You didn't audit. You didn't add up all of the invoices that you had. You didn't audit. And so you need to make a budget for the next. What numbers will you use? You say, oh, I'm gonna say that we probably could spend $5,000 on office supplies, and let's put a number in there. These are just numbers. That is what the comptroller deals in. Fictitious numbers. He gets invoices that tell him either have to pay something or somebody owes them. Okay? And I say it's fictitious because if they pay, that's one thing. If they don't, that's a totally different thing. So I have an invoice that says I'm owed $1 million from Cook County for property taxes. It's just the invoice. It's a piece of paper. It don't mean I have the money. The treasurer's report would be the report that you would find out if that invoice was paid. So it's amazing to me that the treasurer is never allowed to give a report. She's never given any information, yet she can see, or she's supposed to be in charge of, cash money. Money that comes in from invoices that the comptroller gets. Hey, Amanda. So make it make sense to me how you're doing a budget or passing a budget for 2025, 2026, and you have no idea what you spent all the way back to 2022. That is why Alderwoman Colby Chapman and Alderperson Tracy Keys keeps voting no to these budgets, because it is ridiculous to vote yes to a budget when you don't even know what you spent. That is a bad business practice in itself. You're not even running the city of Harvey like a home finance or budget, because baby, in my home, I balance these books over here. I take all my bills, I put them on a line item. I put the cash that comes in, that's in my bank account there, and then baby, I gets the minusing. I got my invoice for my light bill. I got my invoice for my water bill. I have my invoice for my gas bill, my car insurance, my car payment, my health insurance. And I gets the minusing. And I watch that money go right out that account. Then I can say, oh, let me put this in the savings. Put that 50 cents in the savings. Huh? Put that $2. Oh, they gave me a discount on this bill, so I had a savings of $5. Let me put that in my savings account. If you are not auditing yourself and you're not up to date on your audits, you cannot properly make a budget. If I'm just spending, and I'm not watching spending, I'm not at the bank account or nothing, how can I make a budget? I don't know where I'm spending too much. I could be eating out too much. How can you make it? But think of it just like that, because that's what it is. These people are passing budgets. Not Kobe and not Alderwoman Chapman and not Tracy Keys, because they are voting no every time. Yet you have those crazy Alder Yes people saying, "Oh, they're trying to stop the city from progressing. We have to pay bills." What we paying bills with? Because we don't even know what we spent, because we haven't had an audit since 2022. This man is literally talking about Casper the Ghost numbers, because we are in 2026. He is stuck in 2022. And then he gets up there and says, someone asked him about these disclaimers, and he says, "Oh, that just means that we didn't get all the information that we needed to get from the city in order to be able to audit that particular line item or that particular department." So did you just say that the city was not cooperating when you asked for the items for the building department in order to audit the building department for what they spent or what they brought in this for 2022? Is that what you're telling us? Amanda says, and they budget that they just voted on was overspent by a couple of million. Well, I guess it is, Amanda. Why? Because they're in audit of year 2022. And it's probably going to be overspent by more than a couple of million, if you ask me. Because they have not even hit 2023, 2024 yet. See, the layoff situation was to offset these audits that's coming. Because when you find out how much they were spending, okay, they had to lay off all of those people. Look at all those salaries that got laid off, all of those pension, all of those benefit packages and stipends and things that should not get paid now. Now ask yourself, why you only have 4 firefighters, 2 at each house, each firehouse? Huh? Because somebody knows something. Huh? Because somebody knows something. Why would you need to lay off that many darn people? If the city was only in a deficit of $2 million. Because in my head, that seems like something that's workable, is doable. We're talking about municipality budgets and numbers. We're not talking about household numbers. So $2 million, okay, I'm not afraid. Seemed like to me it's a whole lot of lying going on, because that was a whole lot of people laid off. And think of all the things that they come with: salaries, overtime, health insurance payments. If they have any type of stipends with them, seem like to me somebody trying to offset a whole lot of something. With all the businesses being closed, you might for a list of every business license issued since 2023, possibly fraudulent businesses being run like in Minnesota. I mean, at this point, anything is possible. We're actually living in the land of make-believe. Okay? At this point, Sammy Sosa, anything is possible. Okay? We are living in the land of make-believe. It is make-believe for you to think that you can pass a budget or even make a budget, and you have not done your audit since 2022. I just want to know, where are you getting these numbers that you're spending? Where are you getting these budgets? What I mean, like I said, this is why a whole lot lot of people got laid off. And word on the street is they overhired at the fire department. And so that audit come 2023, 2024, 2024, 2025 might be a whole lot of over more than 2 million, allegedly. Now that's word on the street. Now, y'all know when I say word on the street, usually you can bank on, you could take it to the bank. So that's why you had to lay off all of the firefighters and all of those people that you laid off, because you know these audits is coming. Somebody need to ask themselves why we didn't get a copy of said audit or even said budget. Because we was told at the last budget meeting hearing from the comptroller that all of that stuff was going to get put on the website, and still has not. But in which I rest, because these are the things that need to be told to the Illinois Inspector General and the Illinois Attorney General's office. They need to be receiving emails from residents of Harvey saying, riddle me this. Let me give you a little limerick for this morning. How do you appropriate what you did not audit? Audit you did do from 2022 to present. Huh? It's like Tiff learned from work. Tell one employee this, don't let the others know. Nobody knows what the F is going on. Client chest. Sammy Sosa doing something, but I tell you what, he doing a whole lot of peeping and hiding right now. What we gonna find out in these next year's audits? Are we gonna get a whole bunch of disclaimers again? In my opinion, and not my humble opinion, in my personal opinion, this CPA firm, they should be fined. They should be fined, and their license should be suspended. Because you can sound all types of alarms yourself. You can say, hey, they're cooperating with the audit. You know, I can't. I'm tired. They're not doing what we need to do. And as it relates to this audit, this man, you know what? I'm gonna let because we're gonna get into it because it doesn't even make any sense.
Statements consisting of the balance sheet, income statement, and statement of cash flows. The water fund is presented as the sole major fund, with the non-major enterprise funds consisting of the sewer fund, commuter parking fund, and Pace Bus terminal parking fund. Here, I would like to draw your attention to page 27, which consists of your operating revenues, operating as well as non-operating expenses of the project.
Now, mind you, this man is talking about an audit. He's telling you to look at what page. He's telling you these are the revenues. Well, sir, what revenues? For a CPA, you have not mentioned not one number, not one, not 8, not 9, not 7, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, not nothing. Okay, you have not mentioned one number for a presentation that is supposed to be an audit. You ain't recited not one number. Did anybody catch that? He wants you to turn your attention to page 27, 28. These contain your revenue totals for XYZ. Yet this man ain't gave us no revenue totals. He ain't said not one number. Now, I wonder who told him to do that. And as a CPA with your own license, why would you do it? this CPA firm is trash, and they are same CPA firm that is out and turned. Listen, I said this, child. That tells me, oh, I said this. I really, really believe Clark has the paper trail to give to the CPAs. Therefore, they can do their job correctly. Bam. Let me say one thing. We all grown in this conversation, right? So, as a certified public accountant who went to school for 4, maybe 5 years, I should know what we're looking at. I should know what I should be seeing. I should know what I should be receiving. I'm literally the auditing manager for to 10 other municipalities. I don't find no excuses in my bag. I also don't find no F's that I gotta give. I don't have no F's to give for none of this. Because we talking about adults. This man is a certified public accountant for more than 8 to 10 municipalities. I guarantee you he's seen these papers and what he's supposed to be receiving before millions of times. One thing you can't do is hide something from your accountant. Now, they can hide something from you because they know how to do it. But you can't hide anything from them because they know what they're supposed to be receiving, if that makes sense. But this man stood up here and gave a presentation. You just heard him. He's already on page 27, 28 and still haven't read not one number. I'm going to say again. He have not said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 18, 24, 36. He ain't said no numbers, nothing. How do you do that when you're giving a presentation literally about numbers? Jesus, fix it.
For FY22, this exceeded approximately 860,000, thus improving the cumulative net position.
Okay, he just said 860,000, and what was that for?
Of approximately to just over 6 million. Again, another significant improvement compared to FY21. In that case, in FY21, there was a net change in fund balance of approximately, it's actually net reduction in fund balance. So for 2 years span, the proprietary cumulative change position of 1.5 million. We have to look at the outside side. I know the financial picture, look at the grand scheme.
He not helping them at all. He said, and we talking about 2022. In 2022, he said, let's look at a positive. We in 2026 now. He want us to look at a positive in 2022 that they had a plus of 1.5 million in 2022. Mind you, we in 2026. I don't think he's helping their case at all, because these next 3 audits, if we are in how we get to the negative, if we was at 1.5 positive, you want to look at the positive thing in 2022. How do we get to the deficit of allegedly 2 million? But we're going to look at some positives tonight. Lord have mercy. I didn't know if I was in church or if I was in the council meeting. Fix it, Jesus.
May not look as ideal, but these are highlights of the fiscal year audit, so I wanted to point those out. Because as we're going through everything, there's a lot of upsides still looking at. This might be FY20 catching up period over the course of this. Okay, moving through the rest of the final part of the basic.
Listen, you said, oh, I agree. It's just so CPAs come out and we do our job correctly because Sammy Sosa is a douchebag and hinders us constantly. You know, I would have actually felt better if he would have came out and said, again, I want to say we are in 2022. This is in no way a reflection of where we may stand today, but this is from 2022. I would have felt a lot better if he had said that over and over again, not this mess that he's saying right here.
Statements as it relates to financials. Pages 29 and 30 present both the city's pension trust funds. So we were engaged to audit.
Sure, that's what he said. That's what he said. He said it was a $1.5 million surplus. That's what he said. I don't know what category, what department. We didn't have, we could not see this with our own eyes. So I don't know. Okay, Amanda? Okay? A good CPA would have said, and they would have said it over and over again. They would have said, this was in 2022, mind you. This is no way a reflection of where we may be today in 2020. I am currently doing the 2022 audit, and as it relates to 2022, we were in a positive in this particular category. And I don't even know what category it was because we did not have a paper by which to confirm or deny any of this stuff that this man is saying. No, I can't say tell you. They say it's up on the web right now, but what I would need to and what I plan on doing is looking at what's on the website and turn this on again and going to the pages that he states and seeing if they coincide with what he says. Because right now, that I'm feeling like that has to be done. Because we were not able, we didn't have a paper. Sure, they actually have a bigger deficit than that as far as the overall reaching deficit. You know, it's an overall reaching deficit, but we're not there yet. We in 2022. So I can't even tell you if the number that you typed there is where they at because we are in 2022. I don't know.
The city's police pension, and there were different audits. They came up the police and fire pension funds.
Did you hear? He said there were different auditors for the fire and police pension fund. Why? Because they have no confidence in the CPA firm that the city is using. That should tell you something right there. It should tell you something so much to the point that the police and fire said, oh, no. We're going to hire our own auditors. You audit them. We going to audit us. Nope. You audit them. We not. That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes when the police and fire pension funds said, no, you will not do our audit. We will hire someone and we will do our own audit. That's embarrassing. At that point, you should have just closed your briefcase. You should have gotten your residential paid for a car, and you should have just went home and told them you're not going to do the city audit either because you just been shamed to the point to where you should have turned in your CPA license. Just a thought. This is super freaky for such a teeny tiny village. Gotta be massive fraud going on. Allegedly. But when you have a big pile of donkey dung sitting on the dais, what do? I mean, you know what?
Are then broken out on pages 118 and 119 of the report. So if we get through, you'll see those, but I wanted to say that includes both of the police and fire pension funds on pages 29 and 30. 29 being the balance sheet and 30 being the income statement. Now, the next part of the report, pages 31 through 72, this consists of your notes to the financial statements. The note provides essential details and explanations that support the amounts and disclosures in the financial statements. They offer context about the city's accounting policies, significant transactions, and compliance with laws and regulations, while helping readers gain a clearer understanding of the city's overall financial picture. I will not go through that section of the report in detail, but after reading, if there are any questions, feel free to reach out to me for clarity. Again, a lot of this language carries over.
So he was there to do a presentation, but he's not going to go over the presentation. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to him. Now, not you meaning the residents, you meaning the alder people and the board. I be in a total state of confusion when these people I don't even know why they decide that it's smart for them to even be making these statements. Because you should have just did what you was doing in the beginning, which was reading, and not made a type of statement by just reading what you had on paper. Because he had he had a paper with stuff already written on it that he was just reading that he was supposed to say. And then he went off program when he was like, he not go over it in a presentation about the presentation. See, this be the confusion.
Prior year to require disclosure information, but feel free to reach out with any questions as they arise. Page 73, this section requires supplementary information, again also known as RSI, for the pension funds, and concludes at page 84. These are required schedules for reporting change pension liabilities and related ratios, employer contributions, and investment returns. Pages 85 through 86 are the budget to actual reports for the city's general fund and major special revenue fund, motor fuel tax. Following with notes to RSI on page 87, which discloses the budgetary procedures of the city. The next section of the report is actually supplementary information. This is the most detailed section of the report. It begins with the governmental funds on page 88, concludes with enterprise funds on page 117. So again, as I mentioned, this is the most detailed section of the report. This is where we account for each line of city budgets. Where we start with showing the budget, with the original and final, because there were no amended budgets during fiscal year 22. Followed with the actual for the current year audited, actual again being April 30th, 2022. The variance, so is the budget over or under? You'll see that that's the third column on the page.
Now he gets to the variance, the over or under for 2022. He tell you where it's located on the page, but he don't say the number out loud. I don't understand why.
And then the fourth column are the prior year audited financials for.
And he kept right on talking like he shouldn't have told us what the variance was. He even explained what that meant, whether it was over or under. He's saying the number. He did not even let us know if the $1.4 million in the plus that he said was a positive is positive. Huh? Now let's talk about differences in audits, because somebody's going to come up here and try to explain it, but you might not be able to understand them. So, an audit. So, the audit that they are to do every year is random. It should be random. They should give them a list of departments that they're going to randomly audit, and they need this set sort of invoices and all of these things from those departments. So that's just like a normal audit. We're random selecting departments. We're going to audit those departments. Now, my My question is, were they given the list of departments they was told to audit for these audits for the years? That's a question. Because I'm just confused as to why we can't hear more numbers, or even at the end hear the number that it is minus or plus for the ending year balance or deficit. So that's interesting to me as the auditor manager. I mean, I would think that those numbers, that ending number, the variance, the minus or the plus, would be for the public to know as it related to 2022, so that they can understand when the audit for 2023, 2024, that we started out after 22 in a deficit or a positive or whatever. Lord. Okay.
Comparative purposes. Again, we audited the fiscal year 21, so yeah, both years. I know it's still a couple of years back, so primary financials is key, but I want to point those out because as we gradually catch up, and you could use that as budgetary purposes down the road on seeing where line adjustments can be made in the future. Right. Page 118 to 119, this consists of the police and firefighter pension trust funds. Page 118 is your net position, also known as the balance sheet. All the way page 119, which is the related changes in activities. So additions, subtractions to arrive at your ending net position. The last section of supplementary information consists of the city's consolidated year-end financial report, as required by the Illinois Grant Accountability and Transparency Act. I will point out that the city was not subject to a single audit in fiscal year 22, because federal expenditures did not exceed $750,000.
And that needs to be changed. He said they were not subject to a state audit in 2022 because this federal expenditures did not exceed $750,000. In these municipalities, that are smaller, but maybe receiving in a lot of grants and a lot of additional monies, they should be required to be audited every year because they are smaller. If you're receiving a large amount of grants, or you say donation money, people are assisting the city or whatever, you need to be audited every year, because are they assisting? Who assisting? How are you counting that? What department is it going to? Is it being spread out?
If the city was subject to a single audit, there would be a separate standalone report referred to a uniform guidance report, which the city did have in fiscal year 21. Pages 21 to 125, which includes the annual financial report, under this label information. And this discloses the city requirements for outstanding bond issuances as of February 2022. So, before I get into any questions, I want to point out that in terms of the annual compliance filings, the city's.
Now watch this. It's going to be a whole bunch of confusion, because when they came into the meeting, he told them that he wanted to go first. Asked them could they change the agenda around so he could do the presentation first, because he couldn't take no questions. But then at the end of this, he said he was going to take questions.
FY22 annual financial report has been electronically filed with the State Comptroller's Office on the website. Other services that we were engaged to perform for the city during FY22 consisted of preparing the state compliance reports. There were 8 in total, and those were emailed to Administrator Spring Davis for submitting to the state as well. And then lastly, submitting the city's annual debt disclosures to Cook County. That I communicated with Lewis and getting the account set up, The last set of disclosures were several years back, so a new username had to be created, and the is so for clarity, the ordinance requires tax districts to submit financial statements to the treasurer 30 days of the publication of the recent financial statements. Recent audit financials were published on December 31st, 2025. And then the due date for the FY22 disclosures, therefore, is January 30th, 2026. So I worked with Lewis on getting those uploaded. Those already been prepared, and we're just doing our best to get the C caught up and looking ahead in the future. So that's all I have. Are there any questions?
It was my understanding that due to prior obligation that you wouldn't be able to take questions. That's why we make a motion to move you into.
Now look at the Sammy Sosa flunky. Look at Sammy Sosa flunky trying to block the man from answering questions. Talk about some. I thought it was said. Now we didn't see nobody talk to him at the beginning of this meeting about not being able to take no questions. Did y'all, when I showed y'all my video, did y'all see anybody talking to Dominique Randall L? No, Corrine went to the middle of that floor in between them two desks. Them, huh? That's what's talking. Such a thing. I didn't see it. So when was he told that? When was he told that? He definitely wasn't told. Tracy Key looking at him like, what? Huh? Look at Tracy Key on that left side. He is looking at him like, what? If you can zoom in on your screen, zoom in to Alderman Key's face, looking at Dominique like, what? Child, these people will lie when the truth will do.
Fine. Are you still able to, or Mr. Williams can do so?
There were a couple of questions I gave you, right?
Yes.
You want to
Wait, Dr. T, I can answer them.
Okay, that's good then.
I had requested that any questions you have, so we would be fumbling through information, be submitted in writing, and Alderman Chapman did submit.
Now, they requested that questions be submitted in writing. Where is that a rule? Because this is actually supposed to be a hearing where where the residents and everybody is supposed to be able to ask questions. It was supposed to be a hearing. So why should I have to submit something in writing so you cannot answer it? So you want me to submit something in writing so you can not answer it? Balderman Davis. That's what you're telling me? That's what you're telling me, Balderman Davis? That you want me to submit something in writing you can't answer it?
Couple of questions that Kyle can address.
I will do my best. Okay. So, referring to the section labeled 2022 audit, correct, Lewis?
Yes.
Okay. Question 1 stated, why does the FY22 audit state that management cannot provide support for any debit card transactions, despite this being flagged in the FY21 audit? So there was support provided. It's not done with it. 22, there was an improvement, but there still was missing information sample. And
now, how was improvement if there was still missing information? Do y'all hear these word salads going on? And this is not a Portillo salad. This is some straight caca salad. Okay? Tell me. No, that is okay. So y'all know I nicknamed everybody. So I nicknamed the mayor Sammy Sosa because he's literally changing colors before our eyes. Okay? I don't know what's happening with his skin, he's literally shedding like a snake into a whole different color. You don't believe me? I'll show you at a later date. I'll show you tomorrow if I get here back home in time from what I need to do. But I digress. So when I say Sammy Sosa, I'm talking about the mayor. Sitting up on that dais is Dominique Lyon Randall L. That's who that is. Okay. I need to come up with a name for him. Anywho, the man said the question was, why did they not provide any support for the debit card and credit card transactions? Remember now, this the same mess that went on in Dalton. They did the same thing, telling the Dalton board that they did not have any receipts. No receipts were being turned in as it relates to credit card and debit card transactions. They did not have any receipts. That's what they claim. So she's asking him, why did you not get any support? He claims that in 2021, because they were flagged in 2021 for debit cards and credit card use. He claims that there had been significant improvement in 2022, but there was still missing information. Make it make sense. How is it an improvement when information is still missing? I would consider an improvement that they turned in their invoices for any credit card or receipts for any credit card or debit card transactions that they did, thus allowing you to have a full file on debit card and credit card transactions. That is a significant improvement. Make it make sense to me. Actually, it's worse than because he's getting skinnier too. Yeah, Lori stated Tiffany got employees to take out credit cards in their name to purchase stuff or for a tip with the promise to pay those cards slide. Hence, no credit receipts, none. Because guess what? Credit card and debit card payments are automatically paid. They're automatically paid. They're already paid. That's why they got flagged in their 2021 audit, because there must have been an enormous amount of transactions been going through debit cards and credit cards issued to the city. And here we are again. Again, we're not even in 2026. We in 2022. This man says, the report says they didn't get support. She want to know from 2021, did they get the support for the 2022 that they needed? This man says there was a significant improvement. However, there was still information that was missing. No, there was not a significant improvement. Stop it. What? Those two things cannot even go in the same sentence, because you were missing information and you were not given information.
And if there's missing that really was unable to be provided. Some things we do in timeliness, we're looking back 40 years. But I can tell you, part of our sample, we just randomly pull a selection. If the selection is not provided, we'll ask.
He said he randomly pulled a selection. If the selection is not provided, then they don't have the information. But why was the selection not provided?
Request, but I mean, in terms of context, I mean, yes, it improved, but it still was enough to point out in the audit report.
Child, listen, that is a double negative. That's one of them sentences that the teacher put 3 red X's on your paper. She put 3 red X's on that sentence and say, now read that again. That don't even make sense. Listen, I'm thoroughly frustrated and confused just by that whole statement. There was a significant improvement. However, we still did not receive the information that we asked for. So what did you actually receive? You got information you didn't ask for? You got the information they wanted you to have? Cause that's what I heard. That's what I heard. I heard that they gave you asked for what you asked for, and they gave you what they wanted you to have. That's what I heard.
Okay, question 2. When was a formal payroll and fringe benefit allocation methodology?
DMG, he said that they asked for a random list of items. They sent them the items, and they sent them back a response, not of the items that they asked for. I'm asking, what did they send you? If they didn't send you what you asked for, how did you then do the audit? If they didn't send you what you asked for? DMG, other person Chapman stated that they had promised to put parameters in place. She was asking him for 2022, had those parameters, were they being followed? You'll see that later, the answer. Basically, I didn't do it when I didn't, wait a minute. Basically, I didn't not do it when I did it. That part. We need to say, he must have given them a list of items he wanted. Yes, DMG, that's how audit works. The CPA gives you a random list of departments that they are going to audit. Then they proceed to give you a list of what they need. What was that? The things on the list, some of the things on the list were not provided. My question is, how did you then do the audit? How did you do the audit if you kept asking them for the random things you supposed to ask them for, and they kept not giving them to you? How can we trust this audit? I'm just saying. And you know what, DMG? I don't feel like it's every town, because every town that don't have them don't have this. Period. I dare you to prove me wrong.
And the auditors reported earnings as of 22. And Louis, do you want to shed some light on that on past?
Now, he gonna ask the comptroller, who we all know don't work on the side of truth, to come up and explain something about past audits. Now, as a CPA firm, if you are going into a municipality, you did not read or go over past audits to possibly know what you might be dealing with, what type of CPA firm are we dealing with? If I have a CPA firm and my CPA firm is called getinyourbusiness.com, then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the last audit before my firm, getinyourbusiness.com, took over. I'm going to thoroughly go through this audit, and I'm going to write down questions that I have about the audit if I feel like something is missing. But I'm going to know what that last CPA firm or auditing firm thought about you. And I'm going to read it thoroughly. I'm going to look at the numbers. I'm going to compare. I'm going to be ready to compare when I do my. So why should you need to call the comptroller up to answer questions about a past audit?
Not the payroll is not being allocated, it's fringe benefits. So what happened was, normally, I mean, we get an insurance bill every month from Blue Cross in Dearborn. Normally, Human Resources in reviewing the bill does an allocation by department. That wasn't done. We don't want to spend a lot of time doing it because basically it's 12 months of bills going through it. So we just pass on it. It's not, the numbers are not in there.
So you're telling me the people who you pay the salaries to do the jobs that they supposed to be doing wasn't doing their jobs that they were supposed to be doing, and y'all just said okay and didn't tell anybody, and nobody was fired, and people just kept on not doing their job. Okay.
They all in miscellaneous appropriation. We are working toward being able to trying to find a quick way to allocate those expenditures. But again, they're just too time consuming to go through. So.
Just to piggyback off of that. So this is back in 2022. Today's date, are we correcting that?
We are trying to work through correcting that. And speaking with your earlier question on the debit card transactions.
Right.
I can tell you what happened in 22, even though I was kind of in the line of part. The controller's office moved from upstairs to downstairs, and stuff should have been.
So he's saying that because the comptroller's office moved from upstairs to downstairs and they was putting things electronically, that now all of a sudden they don't have the papers that they supposed to have had was not kept correctly. And what happened to them? They disappeared. I mean, City Hall became a magician's, where the magicians work, and they just poof, the papers wasn't there. SP just gave the most concise audit. Nobody down there. Okay. I mean, this man is giving the excuse that the comptroller's office moved from upstairs to downstairs, and you have the all the yes people nodding their heads saying, "Yep, that'll do it. Yep, that's it. That's exactly what happened. My God, today, Lord have mercy." So you mean to tell me if I take the mail that I have from upstairs and take it downstairs, it no longer exists because I work upstairs? DMG, I doubt they hired anybody. This man is literally up here talking like he had David Copperfield and was helping move from upstairs to downstairs. And David Copperfield paper disappearing, and David started disappearing, and it was a whole magician type show going on with this moving literally from upstairs to downstairs. Okay, that's what I'm gathering from this whole situation. And blessed be God, bless their heart that they was trying to move papers with David Copperfield from upstairs. And you know how he liked to make stuff disappear. That guy's a whole fool. He likes to entertain people by making stuff disappear. He had a little sheet and it's gone. He said, "You want me to move these boxes? I'm going to move them so quick. Watch this." They gone. And they say, "David, we got to move downstairs." And he said, "I know, but they gone. Let me go back and get another box and see if it make it downstairs." These are literally the craziest excuses I ever did hear. And you have the 4 yes, all the people saying, "Yep, Lord have mercy. That'll do it." Man, that time was chaotic. If you can't trust people to move papers from upstairs to downstairs, huh? These the people you got running the city? Lord, they worse than that donkey dude we got in office right now. Jesus, Lord, have mercy.
Properly scans into the system, which the process we go through now, as a matter of fact. If somebody did, this isn't some grand amount of money. We fund that debit card account to the tune of about $2,000 a month.
He said this is not some grand amount of money. They fund the debit card account $2,000 a month. So it wasn't such a grand amount of money that in 2021, which was the previous audit from the one we talking about, that account was flagged in the audit. It couldn't have been that small amount of money for it to be flagged. Huh? I would dare to say this man is wearing red tonight for a reason. Draw your own conclusion.
Some months it was heavier at Christmas or doing the breaks and stuff like that. And the big function stuff just wasn't scanned into the system. Because we don't maintain any paper copies of invoices.
So papers weren't scanned into the system. Nobody was reprimanded for it. And nobody double checked the system before those papers were disposed of to make sure that they got entered. Okay, Amanda. Amanda be picking up what I be putting down. Look at that. Listen, if I only got witness, I'll take it. Okay? Okay, that should tell you right. This man is literally making any type of sense. Okay, DMG, you all of that. All of that.
It kind of allows us to scan.
So everybody have access? You mean to tell me Lottie, Dottie, and everybody have access?
Testing for documentation on the bills, they able to go directly into the accounting system. And they're not waiting through file cabinets like we used to in the good old days or bad old days.
That makes sense because it's on backtrack and now we're in the still process of working.
Now you hear this lady. You know, now we're backtracking and the way Kareem looked at her, Lord have mercy. I did not know those people could lie like that.
So, what you're asking?
I was just saying, this was in 2022, so it's still a work in progress, but each year we should improve on that. Thank you.
Question number 3, right here. Why did the city move from qualified opinions in FY21 to disclaimer opinions in FY22 on its core funds? Well, I cancel and explain.
The question was, why did they move from qualified opinions in 2021's audit to disclaimers all over this paper in 2022?
That FY21 was our first year under audit, so part of our procedures is we'll review the predecessor work papers, make inquiries, and as we had more of a clearer picture on everything, our expectations were set. When they weren't met.
Now, what he claimed was that their procedure is anytime they come after another auditing firm, they put in these disclaimers. Huh? You know what?
And we determined it being material. That essentially was our measure. So, yes, there may have been some more detailed testing, but it also, Stephen also evaluating various items from contingent liabilities to amounts owed to other funds. We look at the grand scheme, is it material? Do they materially mistake the financials well they put it? That's where we have to heighten up the auditor's opinion.
I'm going to translate. This man is not saying anything right here. Absolutely nothing. He putting a whole bunch of words and lines together. Absolutely nothing.
Because, again, we're hiding it. We can't just, you know, this is 2022, not everything's going to be the same. So our auditor procedures took us that direction. We don't know if it'll happen in 23, maybe it'll improve in 23.
Speak up.
I'll try, I'm sorry.
Hold on. Y'all say that. Y'all hear that man say maybe it'll improve in 2020? He said maybe.
We don't know if it'll happen in 23, maybe it'll improve in 23.
You heard him?
That's the best response I can give. Okay.
So for more context on the opinions, Kyle went through and explained disclaimer. Qualified opinion says the financial statements are presented in all material respects except for some issue. If our except for list gets too long, we end up with a disclaimer because we don't have enough to express an opinion on. So that's why we went from that qualification only part to disclaimer that's here because there were more issues identified and we weren't able to be provided support for certain offenses. Any questions?
And here comes the reiteration of nothing. He says they put the disclaimers because a lot of the people that were, there during 2021 was not there, during when they did this audit for 2022, so they couldn't get the support they needed.
As you mentioned, disclaimer identifies that the auditor could not obtain sufficient evidence, correct?
Yes, we could not obtain sufficient evidence to support an opinion.
So here, under the government activities, business type activities, general fund, and water fund, these are 4 core operating specifics that keep the city afloat.
So what she's about to say is, he said the disclaimers was because they couldn't get support in those 4 areas, which was the major funds that the city uses to operate and pay bills. They couldn't get the support or the items that they needed. This is a whole red flag.
So I guess my question is, because today we're approving a budget for 25 and 26, what documented proof exists today that the financial control issues cited in the audit have actually been corrected? And I just want to go back. In 2021, we made a promise, according to the audit, that we were going to have a written internal control narrative, that we were going to have regular control execution, and strengthened financial reporting.
This would be the reason that they should have read in its entirety the audit for 2021 and asked questions of the previous firm before they left, or even now, because they're doing the audit for 2022 now, of said audit, because that's well within the scope of their audit. And DMG, this audit cost the taxpayers $110,000 for them to stand up in front of the residents and say they could not even get support for the 4 core funds that the village operates on. $110,000. Let that sink in a distressed city, not including what they get monthly as just the CPA firm, whatever that is. $110,000 separately from whatever they're getting a month to be the CPA firm. For you to stand in front of the residents, one, not take any questions from the residents, two, not even be able to explain the audit that you just gave a presentation on, and literally not gave in numbers, letting them know if the 22 it was in a deficit or in a surplus at the end of your presentation.
Controls. So in your research, have you seen those things heightened or increased? Since we have 4 disclaimers on 4 core operating funds.
Generally, like I will speak.
Excuse me, will you speak up?
I'll try, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
So as far as internal control areas go, yes, we were able to obtain those, perform walkthroughs, and be satisfied with the internal controls, except for the matters that were reported in the management letter. We did have 2 internal control weaknesses. One dealt with the material adjustments that were proposed in connection with the audit, and the other dealt with a lack of sufficient evidence in certain areas. So as far as the internal control processes go, we didn't have specific weaknesses in internal control when it came to processing of payroll, recording receipts.
Do you hear this man saying that they didn't have any processes after they promised the people to put processes in place in 2021, that in 2022 there was no processes? This man is literally standing up here. Now somebody telling the truth. Now somebody is finally telling the truth. No. He said no, there was no processes. None of that was in place for this.
The generic significant transaction samples for the city, but for certain areas we were doing our test work, we weren't provided sufficient information to support our opinion. And part of the struggle there is the time frame. So when 21 took place, there's only so much.
Now he's trying to blame the time frame that they had to do the audit. So if you're saying this was a short time frame, should have been $110,000. But even if it was a short time frame, didn't you know this audit was coming? Y'all literally knew these people were behind because you took over in 2022. I'm still trying to make sense of why you should be behind when you took over in 2022. Lord.
From 10 to 22, given that it's so far behind. So that's the situation we saw when we did our audit. Expectation would be that going forward to 23, 24, 25, we will continue to see improvements in those years as we get.
Going forward, we can't go no further forward. We already forward. You in 2022. We, however, are in 2026. There ain't no going forward. We already forward.
Current, because it's a lot easier to go back 1 year and say, let's fix what happened these past 12 months, than it is to go back 4 years and try and remedy the situation. Anything else to add there, Bruce or Kyle?
So I think that the point you made, let's be clear, this is not a matter of dealing with a lot of documentation. So you get.
He said this is not a matter of we not paying bills with documentation, but you literally didn't hand over the documentation to the people that they needed so that they could do the audit. Somebody come get me. Is that what that man just said?
This is the problem. We desperately need to be where we were 6 years ago. That is audit as quickly as possible, because what happens when you're in 25 when you start asking for documents beyond just you have proof that these bills are paid. So they wouldn't say if they looked at Blue Cross Blue Shield, but any bills on a material amount, there wasn't documentation. It's just when you get to some of the more specific documentation, times after 4 years for getting this place.
I mean, what is the difference in between more specific documentation and documentation that they asked you for and that they needed? I don't understand.
If I may ask, because the spirit are auditors, so you all can only audit what you're providing, correct? What are we doing internally, Comptroller Williams, to ensure that moving forward, moving into the 2023 audit, that we can maybe hold to some of the promises?
We're constantly requesting documentation from the departments, making sure we scan it in. Another thing they just claimed on again was compensated absences. That's a matter of human resources has to provide us with that. And again, like we talk about the allocation of fringe benefits. These are things that quote unquote the finance department gets their on, but you rely on other departments, and you also rely on the flow of information from all the various parts of the city. What we're trying to do just is the board packages.
Did that man say they rely on flow of information from all departments, yet the Treasury Department, the treasurer, is being left out of this whole entire conversation?
Sent out electronically so you can always come back and forth with it. It's that those type of things that enable us to have documentation.
Give me one second here. I'm gonna ask the council, please, let's keep our questions to the audience.
Now here goes Sammy Sosa Jr. or the third trying to keep the comptroller from having to answer questions like Sosa Sr. does when he's in the meetings. He tries to keep him from answering questions too. So apparently Sammy Sosa the third, he got the memo. Don't let them ask the comptroller no questions. Cause what?
So that we can make sure that the public and ourselves are fully understanding this audit. The operational questions, we can ask that anytime.
The only thing that we have fully understood is that the village would not remit items to the auditors that they needed to do the audit. That's the only thing we fully understand at this moment. We fully understand that. We fully understand that, Sammy Sosa the third. We fully understand that.
I want to make sure that everybody has a great understanding, a thorough understanding of what our auditors have performed and what they're saying in relation to our finances. With all due respect, I know that we want to make sure that we're using this information that you're providing to make us better financially. That's one set of another category of questions that you can't even answer, okay? Because you're not in charge of running the city. So the questions that
why would the auditor need to be able to be in charge of running the city to tell you how to financially get healthy? Because they look at numbers. They don't tell you to not buy that with the credit card. They look at the numbers and they tell you buying too much stuff with that credit card. So why would they not be able to tell you that?
I want to make sure that we're getting to him is anything that will help us better understand the audit. Because we get those questions and he's answering those questions, not only we getting it, but the public's getting a better view of what's going on financially with the city. Yes, recognize first.
My experience with auditors. So if you have,
use your mic, please.
I'm sorry, my voice projects. My experience with auditors, if you're sitting there looking and you go to the comptroller and you say, okay, I need 10 and you're making the selection, the auditor has to go back and give you that data. If that data is missing, he cannot turn around and say, oh, we got this to complement. You just are randomly checking about 10% of each category, correct?
Yeah, it's ultimately to get reasonable assurance.
Right.
You can't get that reasonable assurance, that's what on the other pass.
Go down the other thing. So this is like
Shirley, you did not help because that man said he said if we get we can't get a reasonable assurance. The man done told us several times that they didn't get the things that they asked for. So they didn't have a reasonable assurance about anything. Okay, Javar? Okay? They didn't have a reasonable assurance about anything because they was not remitted a lot of the papers that they needed. How did you help them, Sheriff? Huh? Huh? How did you help them?
Percentage of where we're at, but it's not a truly 100% accurate of everything in my country.
I pointed out I think the general fund and the water fund, just to let you know, if the general fund's disclaimed.
Shirley just made the case that y'all need a forensic audit. That's what Shirley just did. Because she said that this is not a true picture or depiction of everything. We couldn't even get the small micro picture that we was asking for. So we might need a picture of everything just so we can know. Because we couldn't even get the small picture we was asking for. Tell me how you helped them.
Environmental activities would be disclaimed too, because they fall under that. Likewise, the water funds disclaimed, so would the proprietary funds. So those are the two that we're on. I know those are the two biggest, but again, those are the ones with the most.
For those that are,
I'll make you one point. The audit is posted to the city's website.
yes, that's what I'm about to say. And you're welcome, if you have your phone, you can go right there.
That clerk, while they was talking, just did. She just put it on there. And towards the end of this is when that guy put on there. I'm going to skip to because they're not saying nothing.
Which is why we often send second, sometimes third, or fourth requests, because that's our key audit evidence. We don't have those. We're basically just driving by.
Okay.
Did y'all just say he asked 3, 4, 5 requests, and if they didn't get what they had, they was driving blind. So that's why they put those disclaimers, because they was driving blind and still is. You see that man admitted that? Out of here.
One more question. When it comes to the general fund, how are y'all able to evaluate that to see exactly how the money is being spent and how?
Tracy Keys cracks me up because he's gonna go to his money that he's not getting for his ward, and he asked him, do they denote that money like this is supposed to be for all the for Ward 4, but he's not getting it, and he goes is going to fund. But that's not what this audit. They do a RAM check of these things. They said, some miscellaneous money. I don't know what part they actually audited. Tracy Keys cracks me up. Let me go to Ryan's comment, and then tomorrow we're gonna pick back up. I literally cannot take any more of this comptroller because the things he be saying don't make no sense. And I'm not gonna listen to it no more. Let me get to Ryan because Ryan go right here. Now, the deputy clerk, she acted like she didn't know how to run the timer, which was hilarious to me. The timer was so minuscule on the screen when normally it's in a big red, it's a big red number that ticks down. Boy, this thing was so hilarious to me.
Hold on. I want to make sure you get your time. Wait till it comes up for me, please.
Is this on? Can you hear me?
It's on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can hear you.
Why would we be having trouble hearing you, Dominique?
Wait till she get the clock up before she start.
Yeah, no.
Javar, to answer your question, and I believe she was looking at Ryan. However, she was looking in the direction that there were a lot of people there, so I don't know.
Go ahead.
don't see anything.
It's a little small one up there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, we can see it.
Oh, it's fixed.
We're gonna restart.
I just had a few questions, so yeah, I didn't, like some of the other residents were saying, I didn't know any of whether the levy or the, audit information was on the city website. But I guess during the meetings, somebody from the city gave somebody else, anyway, I ended up just pulling it up. So I had some concerns because I was pulling it up while you guys were talking. And again, you know, if we could please make this stuff available in advance, like, Ms. Chapman said, it does have to be, you know, we need 20 days to evaluate whether we want our taxes to go up, because usually most boards will increase taxes every year. But as part of the audit, it said, I was concerned, it said, because of the, let's see, because Ferrick was talking, we have not been able to.
Amanda, thank you for mentioning that is correct. They also have used the excuse that their office is significantly understaffed. Excuse me. Their office is significantly understaffed. That's an excuse that has been given. You know, I have a dual feeling about this, right? So not only is it their job, and yeah, they do it when the spotlight is put on them, but we also have to start putting the pressure on the comptroller. We should be emailing her and asking her, why are you not penalizing the village of Harvey for being 3 years behind on audits and still passing budgets? We just have to start emailing. We have to start asking the question over and over again until they literally get tired of and say, we're going to do something about it and allocate someone. So that's what I've been doing, but it takes more than one person, right? It takes more than one person to email the comptroller every week. Right? So, you know, we need to start sending emails. When you get mad at a company, you buy something and it's not what you purchased, you email them people, you do everything. That's the same attitude that we have to take with the comptroller's office. So the burden is on her, but it's also some of it is on us. We got to start writing these emails. We got to start being angry enough to act and do that weekly until they answer, until they do something. And not just when the cameras is there, but when they're not.
Sufficient appropriate audit evidence to provide a basis for opinions on the financial statements of the governmental activities, business type activities, general fund, and water fund. So that's a lot of the money that the city spends. So that's very concerning, I think. Everybody should be concerned. Because if they haven't been able to get evidence from the city to, you know, tell us about that, then that's a lot of missing information. Also, in their report, it said the city has accumulated unassigned deficit. Okay, the city has borrowed extensively from other funds without an apparent means of repayment. Additionally, the city has defaulted on several bond payments and has experienced ongoing difficulties in meeting its financial obligations. The situation raises significant liquidity risks.
Did y'all hear what he just wrote? And they put that in the audit? Go back so you can listen to again. Again, Ryan is reading from the audit that the deputy clerk put on the website as we were sitting there. I want you to listen to what he read.
Let's see. Because Ferrick is talking, we have not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to provide a basis for opinions on the financial statements of the governmental activities, business type activities, general fund, and water fund. So that's a lot of the money that the city spends. So that's very concerning, I think.
Listen to this next part very closely that Ryan reads. It is directly from the audit, and it's very concerning what they write.
Everybody should be concerned because if they haven't been able to get evidence from the city to, you know, tell us about that, then that's a lot of missing information. Also, in their report, it said the city has accumulated unassigned deficit and put them down. Okay, blah, blah, blah. The city has borrowed extensively from other funds without an apparent means of repayment.
The city has borrowed extensively from other funds without a plan for repayment. What other funds? Don't he think he should have said that in his position and let us know what funds that were? Guys, what that they borrowed from? They didn't set a repayment plan.
Additionally, the city defaulted on payments and has experienced ongoing difficulties in meeting its financial obligations.
So they still, in 2022, Clark was in the seat, or Sammy Sosa was in the seat, and we're still defaulting on bond payments. Now, that cannot be Eric Kellogg's fault because had not been in the seat since 2018. 2019, Clark was getting in the seat. 2022, he's still defaulting on bond payments and not telling the resident. Huh?
The situation raises significant liquidity risks. So I'm not quite sure why that wasn't emphasized, because that's in there.
Again, this is something that he should have said in that so-called presentation. And let me tell you how fast them two men got out of that hall. When they finished that presentation, that man literally was putting on his coat before the comptroller took over and started talking. He was putting his coat on as he was walking to the door, and I mean rapidly. The treasurer had to run out of the room because he did not even give her a copy. The board and the alder people had copies of this so-called audit, and he did not give one to the treasurer. She had to run him down. These are things you could not see that was going on. She had to run him down before he left to get a copy.
It's on the first page of
the treasurer.
Report. Again, that's very concerning. We need to address that. But yeah, the biggest one that I saw was just how they said they didn't get any audit evidence related to financial statements for governmental activity. What's not? It's a government, it's a city council. Like, everything you do is a government activity. So business type activities, okay, the city does a lot of businesses. General fund and water fund, like, what's going on with our water fund? I mean, that's really concerning. And then my other question is,
again, what funds are they borrowing from? When this audit keep rolling along, what are we gonna not be told? Because that man did not even say anything about this in his presentation. He didn't say anything about it. Literally, it's a work night for y'all. So I'm gonna stop here. Tomorrow we'll go right into the council meeting, which will be a short thing. And then we'll talk about a few things in Harvey that I want to talk about in relation to Sammy Sosa's domiciles in Harvey. Again, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to this broadcast today. I really do appreciate it. Listen, if you don't live in Illinois, wherever you live, audit your town. Audit wherever you live. See if they're being transparent. See if you should be asking them some questions. Just try to keep up. It's a lot. I know. You got the orange man doing stuff. You got people in the Senate and the House. You got your locals. It's a lot. I know. It's a lot. But we gotta start keeping up with what's going on. Okay? Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. Tune in tomorrow. It'll be late tomorrow night because, like I said, I have a few things I do in the personal realm. Tune in late tomorrow night, and we're going to go over the meeting, the council meeting, the non-hearing, we should be typing. I'm also going to show you some of the audits of these 17 municipalities in the township that I did today and disrespectful. All right. Listen, y'all make it do what it do. Chasing corruption is exhausting, but fight the good fight. Listen, we're going to keep on getting into good trouble, at least trying to over here. You know, I'm going to do it, you know, for as long as I feel like I want to keep doing it. But when I feel that people are not really caring and don't care what's saying, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop, put out the information, and I'm going to stop. Because it takes a lot to do these audits and research and, you know, go to these meetings and municipalities and, you know, these different events. It takes a lot. But I thank you guys. And as long as I feel like I'm going to do it, I'm going to keep on doing it for a little while longer. Because the people that I have met along the way have been some incredible, great people. And we still have the matter of a ride along in Harvey. We may be able to get that done this Saturday, as I will be in Harvey for something private. So I'll let you guys know. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Y'all get some rest and be up on time for work in the morning.
To be in the know, there is no one to show, to know what to do. Just jump in the queue, it's all up to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue.
Thank you, Diane, for the super chat of $19.99. Thank you, DMG.
All in the queue.